So, good evening, students. Uh, Today, the next topic is your voltage and current sources. Voltage and current sources. So, uh, first of all, let me tell you of the ideal voltage source. What is an ideal voltage source? Basically, ideal voltage source is a circuit element that maintains a prescribed voltage across its terminal, regardless of the current flowing in those terminals. Okay, so first figure, you can see this is an example of your voltage source. This one, this is an example of your voltage source or symbol of an voltage source, you can see. And this is a current source. So current source is represented by arrow and voltage source is represented by plus minus sign. So next comes the ideal current source. Ideal current source is a circuit element that maintains a prescribed current through its terminal regardless of the voltage across those terminal. So two types of sources are there: ideal voltage source and ideal current source. Okay. Next, further we can classify the voltage sources and current sources into two categories, like independent sources and dependent sources. Both independent and dependent sources, they are classified into voltage sources or current sources. Now, independent sources, they establish a voltage or current in a circuit without relying on a voltage or current elsewhere in the circuit. On the other hand, dependent sources, they establishes the voltage or current in a circuit whose value depends on the voltage value or a current elsewhere in the circuit. So dependent sources, they are in the circuit analysis, in the, they are represented by this diamond symbol, and your independent sources, they are represented by this circle symbol. Okay. Next, first independent and dependent independent and dependent sources. So first figure, you can see this is the independent voltage source. So 5 volt I have written, it is a value of this independent voltage source. On the other hand, on the right side, you can see independent current source, green here. So these are the independent current sources which are represented by a circle. Then dependent source, dependent voltage sources, they are represented by this diamond symbol. Okay, diamond symbol. So dependent voltage source, dependent voltage depends on the current. So 4ixv, it means this is the value of the voltage, and it depends upon this value of this current ix. Okay, 4ixv, this means this is the value of the voltage and it depends upon the current ix. Similarly, for this right side, you can say 4vxa, this is the value of current and it depends upon this voltage vx. Okay, so we can say that dependent voltage source, voltage depends on the current, and for dependent current source, current depend upon the voltage. Okay, then dependent source can also be represented like this: 4vx v. So this is the value of the voltage where vx is some current through an element. So dependent voltage source, voltage depends upon the voltage. This is the another situation in which the voltage depends upon the voltage, and for this dependent current source, current depends upon the current, 7ix ampere. Now in the circuit analysis, sometimes it is necessary to convert the source voltage source to an equivalent current source, or current source to an equivalent voltage source. So this is the method. Okay, so if you want to convert a voltage source, as you can see in this figure, this is the voltage source, this is the complete voltage source, and this is the current source. So how we are going to convert this voltage source to current source? We will replace this voltage source by the current source, this Vs by Rs, and we will connect the resistor Rs in parallel with this current source. And how we will calculate the value of the current? Is equal to Vs by Rs. So this is the current source, and series resistor RL will be connected in parallel with this current source when you are going to convert the voltage source to a current source. So this is the slide which shows a loaded voltage source. Loaded voltage source means when some load has been connected across the two terminal A and B. This is the loaded voltage source. And loaded current source, same Vs by Rs. Already we have seen load resistor is connected across two terminal A and B. So you can say this represents the terminal equivalency. Okay? Terminal equivalency between the voltage source which is loaded and current source which is also loaded. Same value of current IL. IL is value of same across these two terminal A and B. So we can say that it's a terminal equivalency for converting a voltage source to a current source. So this is I am showing you this example that in this example a voltage source is given. This voltage source is given and we are going to convert this voltage source to a current source. So same we will calculate IS because we for current source we want current source. We want equivalent current source. So we will convert this voltage source to equivalent current source. So for that we will find the current. Current is given by Vs by Rs, 82.13. So this is the value of the current, and we will connect this resistor Rs in parallel with this. Same value resistor is connected in parallel, and you will find the value of the current. And when these both are connected in parallel, current source and resistor both are parallel, then you will get a current source. So this is an example. From this example, you can learn how to convert a voltage source to a current source. Second thing is converting a current source to a voltage source. So sometimes again we are having this current source IS and we will convert to voltage source. Okay? IS into RS. IS into RS, what is this? This is voltage. Okay? So this resistor will be connected in series and voltage resistor will be connected in this way. So A and B are two terminal, same terminal, and voltage resistor and voltage source and resistor RS, they are connected in series to get the voltage source. So we have in this way a voltage source is converted into a current source. This is an example, same example, just to explain that how the current source is to be converted into a voltage source. So current source is given 10 milliampere value and resistance is given a value 1.0 kilo ohm. So for getting the equivalent voltage source, we will find the value of voltage. Vs is equal to Is into Rs, 10 volt. So we have find this value, Rs is resistor. Okay, and you will get this voltage source, equivalent circuit diagram, as you can see in this example. Next comes the superposition theorem. So basically, when there are multiple sources present in any circuits, then superposition theorem is the best way to determine the current in the circuit. Okay. When multiple sources, one source is Vs1 and second source is Vs2. So multiple sources are there. So superposition is the way to determine the currents in the circuit with multiple sources by leaving one source at a time and replacing the other sources by their internal resistance. So in this condition, superposition theorem, it provides a method for analysis. So what is the statement of superposition theorem? The current in any given branch of a multiple source circuit can be found by determining the currents in that particular branch produced by each source acting alone with all other sources replaced by their internal resistance. And the total currents in the branch is the leverage sum of the individual currents in that branch. This is the statement of this superposition theorem. Normally, what we have seen that already we had seen that ideal voltage source has zero internal resistance and ideal current source has a infinite internal resistance. This thing you have to remember. Ideal voltage source has zero internal resistance and for ideal current source zero infinite internal resistance. Okay. So these are the steps which we will follow for calculating the currents in the circuits for the superposition theorem. First step is leave one voltage or current source at a time in the circuit and replace each of the other voltage or current source with its internal resistance. For ideal source, a short represent a zero internal resistance, okay? And open circuit, it represent a infinite internal resistance. And second step is determine the particular current or voltage that you want just if there were only one source in the circuit. Step 3, take the next source in the circuit and repeat step 1 and step 2. Do this for each source. Okay. And last step in the superposition theorem is to find the actual current in a given branch. Algebraically sum the currents due to each individual source. If the currents are in the same direction, they are added. If the currents are in the opposite direction, they are subtracted with the direction of resulting current the same as the larger of the original quantity. Once you have find the current, then you can use the Ohm's law to calculate the voltage. Okay. So using Ohm's law, you will find the value of the voltage once you have find the value of the current by following these 4 steps. Okay. Then you have next we have this Thevenin theorem. Thevenin theorem. It is also used for circuit analysis. So Thevenin's equivalent form of any two-terminal electric circuit consists of an equivalent voltage source and equivalent resistance. Okay. Equivalent resistance होगा इसमें and equivalent voltage source होगा. Because we are studying Thevenin's theorem, so in this case, voltage source is known as Thevenin voltage and resistance is known as Thevenin resistance. So we have replaced this original circuit by this equivalent Thevenin circuit, having RTH as Thevenin resistance and VTH as Thevenin voltage. Same circuit. So Thevenin equivalent voltage VTH is the open circuit or no load voltage. Open circuit means no load. No load is connected. So in this case, RL equal to 0. No load voltage between two output terminals in the circuit. And Thevenin equivalent resistance, what is this? It is the total resistance appearing between the two terminals in a given circuit with all sources replaced by their internal resistance. Now, summary of Thevenin's theorem. 5 steps are to be followed for calculating the Thevenin voltage and Thevenin resistance. So, first step is open the two terminal, remove any load between which you want to find the Thevenin equivalent circuit. Second step is determine the voltage VTH across the two open terminals. Third step is determine the resistance RTH between the two open terminals with all sources replaced with their internal resistance. Ideal voltage source shorted and ideal current source open. Because when the ideal voltage sources are shorted, then internal is 0. Already we had seen this thing. Connect VTH and RTH in series, as we have seen in the previous circuit diagram. VTH and RTH, as we can see from this figure, connect the VTH and RTH in series to complete the Thevenin equivalent or the original circuits. Okay. So next step 5, replace the load removed in step 1 across the terminal of the Thevenin equivalent circuit. You can now calculate the load current and load voltage using only Ohm's law. They have the same value as the load current and load voltage in the original circuit. Next comes your Norton's theorem. Like Thevenin's theorem, Norton's theorem provides a method for reducing a more complex circuit to simpler equivalent form. So to reduce the complexity of original circuit to simpler circuit, Norton's theorem is used. So in case of Norton's theorem, you will be having Norton current IN and Norton resistance RN. In the previous case, it was Thevenin voltage and Thevenin resistance. Both were connected in series. Okay, because the voltage and resistance were there. In case of Norton's theorem, it is current and resistance. So current and resistance both will be parallel with respect to each other. So Norton current and Norton resistance will be there. So what is Norton's equivalent current? Norton's equivalent current is IN. It is a short circuit current between two output terminals in the circuit. This IN. Short circuit current between two output terminals in the circuit. Because this is the load resistor. Once you have removed this load resistor and you have shorted these two terminals A and B, and the current which flowing through the shorter terminal, that is your Norton current. So what is written there? Short the terminal to get the value of the Norton current. Okay. From the original circuit, how will you get the Norton current? You just remove the load resistor and the short is terminal A and B and get the value of Norton current ID. Similarly, Norton equivalent resistance. Norton equivalent resistance is defined in the same way as your Thevenin. So Norton's equivalence resistance Rn is the total resistance appearing between two output terminals in given circuit with all sources replaced by their internal resistance. Total resistance appearing between two output terminals, between these two output terminals, P and P, with the load removed. When the load is removed and total resistance appearing between these two terminals, P and B, और sources को replace करना with all sources replaced by their internal resistance and source को short करना with their internal resistance. So you will get the Norton's equivalent of resistance at the output of the two terminals A and B. So there are four steps for Norton's theorem for calculating the value of the Norton current and Norton resistance. So first step is short the two terminals between which you want to find the Norton equivalent circuit. Second is determine the current IN through the shorter terminal, as already we have seen. Or just short the terminal to get the value of Norton current. And the third step is determine the distance Rn between the two open terminals with all sources replaced with their internal resistance. Ideal voltage sources shorted and ideal current sources open. And Norton value of resistance is equal to your Thevenin resistance. Okay, and last step is connect Norton current and Norton resistance in parallel to produce the complete Norton equivalent for the original circuit. So what we have done here, we have connected IN and RN both in parallel with respect to each other to get the Norton equivalent circuit. So this is the Norton equivalent for the original circuit to reduce the complexity of the original circuits. So Norton's theorem is also used. So this is the Norton's theorem. So if you have any doubt, you can comment me or you can ask me. Okay. So this is the Norton's theorem. In the next lecture, we will be having other topics related with your RL and RC circuit that we will do in the next class. Thank you.